of your monthly paycheck put away for emergencies. A lot of Canadians don't have that. And one of the reasons why David Bach says that a lot of people just don't have savings is because of the latte factor. And I love this premise. And it could be the cigarette factor, it could be you know, the bottle of water, whatever. It's your vice. Okay. So he's saying it refers to the small daily expenses that when saved or invested instead can contribute to significantly building wealth. And I know that Haley bought the book. There's actually a separate book that he wrote called The Latte Factor in and of itself. And I really love that book because it dives a little deeper into this premise. So basically, what he's saying is, what is your vice? And a vice is anything, and mine have changed over the years. Lately, for me, it's that Tim Hortons coffee. And when I go and look at my MasterCard statement for the month, it's like 207, 207, the medium coffee, and I tally up how much of it I'm buying. And it really does tally up and it annoys me. So as much as I can, I try to make my coffee at home, but it's the convenience factor. And just some examples when I did a little bit of research on this, things like excessive data plans on our phones that we don't need, unused gym memberships or any type of membership, unused subscriptions. So like, I'm thinking about getting rid of Apple TV, and I have Audible and I have Spotify and all these things that, especially with Christmas coming up, I have to ask myself, do I need all these? Like, am I using these to their full value? Bank fees are another one. Using bank machines that aren't our own, or NSF fees, things like that. Those are ones that I really try to tell to my students, because when they lose the student status on their bank accounts, they really start getting dinged for these things. So you have to watch those monthly fees. Coffee, impulsive buying, frequent takeout. And a lot of these things are just convenience things that require some planning ahead. So he looked at what I'm doing, buying coffee per day, and it's quite humbling when you look and see that, if I'm buying two medium Tim Hortons coffees per day, it totals $14.60 a year. And I would always say to students, I'd show them these stats and say, do you think you can afford, to do a college program? And they said, well, no, I absolutely can't. And then I would ask them, who in here smokes, who in here buys Monster drinks? And we would do the math, and we would actually see that, they could, in fact, afford to do more than they think they can, because it's just the latte factor. It's these little things that are adding up. So, that's just kind of my summary of what I took from these chapters. But and we have some other people on here, but I just kind of wanted to open it up to discussion and see what other people think. Or like, do you find it's just really difficult to automate savings? Like, is it something that from reading the book you've started to do, or is it just, are you finding you run into every month, like at the end of the month, I just don't have money to put into savings? Any thoughts, comments?
Jill,
I can share my.
Oops.
Oh,
Go
yeah,
ahead.
awesome. Whoever wants to go first. Rachel?
I will.
Go.
Because
Okay,
I gotta
Marian.
leave.
Okay.
It's just because I have to leave.
Yeah.
We're doing the tax-free savings.
Yes.
So, and that's automated to come out twice a month, every month.
So
I don't
good.
even look at it. It's there. It helps to pay for my property taxes.
Yeah.
And then whatever is left over just keeps building. So I found that's been a really grace for me to do that, because then I don't even see it.
Yeah, that's a lifesaver for me too. Are like those vehicles of saving, RRSP and tax-free. Because if I didn't automate that, and actually with the teacher raise, I messaged my financial advisor and I said, hey, Grattan, like, I'm getting a raise. I don't need, like, I'm living on what I have right now just fine. As much as I want to take this raise and buy like a jacuzzi or something, like take that extra money and up my monthly contribution for me. And like, I try to have discipline to do that, but I'm so type A, and I was raised by such a boot camp accountant that I have to like make myself have balance. So I love to watch savings grow, but I also have to say, okay, you need to go on a trip. Like you need to live a little bit too, because I don't want to get so restrictive that like my sister, who's opposite, always says, Jill, like you're gonna get hit by a bus right before you retire and you'll have all your retirement savings and we'll take it. You have to live your life. There's got to be a balance there. So Marion, I love that. TFSAs, and we'll get into that in future chapters, but they're awesome. Yeah. Anyone else?
Well, I put away a little bit in TFSA too, but
Yeah.
as soon as I read that again, and I've read it in the past in another
Yeah.
book, it's like I've got to up it, and it's like the perfect time. We just got to raise. It's the perfect time to
Yes.
slide it in there. You won't even
So,
notice it.
so true. It
And then,
is.
and then the latte effect that kind of like rung true because the last book that we read,
Yeah.
um, we did like a little budget to see exactly what we were spending and everything, and it made it. I was like, oh my gosh, I didn't realize how much I was spending now with all the increases on groceries. I was like, I've got to
I
be
know.
smarter about this. I never looked at it before.
Yeah,
And I thought
for
it's
sure.
time for me to review that list again to see what am I spending my money on and that I'm wasting, right?
Absolutely. Yep. Rachel, did you have something? I saw your name light up.
Yeah, it was very similar to what Marion said. A few
Yeah.
years ago, I don't know anything, and I didn't know anything about RRSPs. So a few
Yeah.
years ago, I realized that the district wasn't taking out as much as they should have been taking out. So, anyways, I set it up so that every payday,
Yeah.
I had $200 that was just going out and going directly into savings for
Great.
RRSPs solely so that at the end of the year I wouldn't have to pay anything in taxes, because when I was a new teacher things weren't lining up properly. Anyways,
Yeah.
so in the last year or year and a half, there's a lot of things that I could have done with that money, but I didn't touch it and I kept it kind of the same so that that $200 is it's gone essentially within an hour of me being paid in the morning. So it's not
Good.
there to even think about spending. And
I know.
so when I read that, I thought, yeah, that's exactly why I have it set up that way. And I would love to touch it
Yeah.
because money is definitely tighter now than it has ever been. But
Yeah.
I've kept it in there, and so I think that's key is having it in a spot where you don't even see it, so you're not tempted to spend it elsewhere.
Absolutely. There's questions like a couple of my friends have said, Jill, should I put the retro pay on my line of credit or invest it? And I say like look at the interest rates of both. So or your credit card. Like my rule of thumb for me is just always pay off credit card balances first because the interest is so high. It's always great to invest, but I know a lot of teachers are getting this retro pay right before Christmas, and so it's hard to say like I'm going to take that retro pay and put it into to savings, but I mean it's the smart thing to do. But yeah, like I feel like a lot of people will be tempted to spend it on luxuries because that's what we all want to do, but it's just making those decisions on what's the smart thing to do. Haley, you have a good strategy with saving for trips you were talking to me about.
Yeah, I
Don't you
do. And
automate savings into different like
yeah,
little yeah.
so I try and automate as much as I can so for example, today happens to be a payday for me. So
Yeah.
it's a convenient time to be reading this book. So I'm looking at
Yeah.
other things.
Yeah.
But I have it automated so that I have like a little travel fund, a gift fund, so that I don't even have to think about it. And then when Christmas comes along,
Yeah.
I'm not like, oh my goodness, how am I going to pay for these gifts?
Yeah.
So that's kind
Do you
of, it's worked out.
do you have it like right on your online banking?
No, so it all feeds into one high interest savings account.
Okay.
And then it's tracked in a whole other thing. I don't
Okay.
know. It's tracked somewhere.
Okay.
And so I just know what is assigned to that.
Okay. I love it.
Yeah.
I love it.
And the interest, like it earns a ton of interest. I only travel once a year or once every other
Yeah.
year. So
Yeah.
the interest alone, I'm getting, $25 or $30 a month
Yeah.
just in interest
Yeah.
on that
I
account.
think
Haley, can I ask you, like, what type of high interest savings account? What is the interest on that? And what bank you're with? Because I
Yeah,
have a hard time finding that. So if you don't
it
mind sharing.
is, and I just happened to pull it up. It's through RBC,
Mm-hmm.
and it doesn't tell me what type
Right.
of account it is, but details.
You can always
It's
put it in
an
the chat.
RBC high interest e-savings.
E-savings.
Yeah. So
Okay.
it's not like attached to it. Like I can't use a debit card or anything like
Right.
that. It's completely e-savings. So I can transfer funds out of it
Yeah.
to pay the credit card for when I come back from the trip. But
Yeah.
and we did a session earlier this week, Jill and I, and one of the
Yeah.
things that I said is that we all want to take these trips, but I don't take the trip until I know like it's going to be basically a free trip when I come home,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
other than the food that I'm going to eat and things
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah. Awesome. Laura?
Haley, I'd love to, like, if you have a chance to learn more about how you have your account within the account that you were talking about.
Yeah.
If if you find out more about it later, if you post it in our group, I would really love to hear about that.
Yeah, I'm happy to share my system. It's probably
Yeah.
it's one of a million, but it works
Haley,
for me.
when are
I
you
was-
teaching? Haley is hosting one of our sessions. Is it in January that you're up, Haley?
January.
Okay,
Yeah.
we need it before that.
I'll see what I can do for you.
Okay. Okay, Laura, sorry I cut you off.
Well, why I'm so interested is I'm also with RBC, but I when you brought up banking fees, I had the idea, Haley, like you do, but I didn't know the nuances of it, and I didn't want to start something and then have additional
I know.
banking fees for different,
Yeah.
whatever.
No.
So
This
Anyway,
particular
that's why I'm
one,
interested.
because I have a checking account and a savings account, a credit card, because and like investments and a credit line,
Mm-hmm.
it takes all of those products and then it significantly reduces my monthly fees on all of them. So I don't have a fee on my credit card. I think I only pay like $3 or $4 a month for my checking account. Everything else is nothing. It's great.
Awesome.
But
Okay.
it's all with RBC. Everything is with them.
Okay. Interesting.
Do you know what the interest rate is, or does it flex or whatever with that?
I feel like it flexes, but I'm just on the app, so I don't know.
We should get RBC to sponsor our book club.
Well, I will say I do have lots of friends at RBC.
Well, Haley, we like swag and we like high interest savings accounts.
I'm just gonna go onto their website, see if I can find it.
Okay.
Keep talking. I'm gonna see what I can find because I know it's here. It's just not on my app.
Another trick I want to share. I'm obsessed with points. Like I am like an obsessive point collector, and I have like strange tricks and tendencies to collect PC points and like shoppers points. So I am paying for like my Christmas groceries and stocking stuffers with points, and I kind of save it up all year. And like there's different promotions. If you have the PC app and you know the times of the month to what you can like load, like it's like pathological what I do, but I'm like trying to battle this inflation. And so the PC points are huge. I'm not a huge air miles gal, but the PC points, and then Marriott Bonvoy points I'm slightly obsessive about, but just because I travel for work and stuff like that. But if anyone has points, tips, or systems that they want to share, feel free. Haley, thank you.
No problem. I just put it in the chat.
Okay.
It's a free product.
Yeah.
And it earns 5.5%.
Oh yes.
And then there's also a couple of times a year they'll double the interest on any deposits within a certain block of time.
Get out of town.
Yeah,
Look at
it's
that.
great.
Okay.
10 out of 10 recommend.
Okay.
Wow.
Well then, I might just be switching to Royal Bank.
I'm a fan.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome.
So it's just called high interest e-savings account on the RBC. Okay, perfect. Open online. Look at that. Pretty simple.
Yeah.
Very good. Very good.
Oh, only for 3 months though, it's 5.5. Is that it? Or is that
Yeah. And
Yeah.
then
it goes to,
second here. Just saw it. The only thing you do have to be careful with this one is transferring it in and out.
Okay.
Some are free to transfer out to certain accounts, others it charges you.
Okay. Very good.
well, I'm a little bit like Jill in that I save and I don't spend enough too, like as in trips and stuff. So I love your idea. But I was thinking like, don't give me a dollar value, but like how much would you put towards, like that's another thing, like how much do you put towards, like you take out and pay, like what would you put towards your trip area, like a percentage, or I don't know, like, or
Monthly.
I don't know. The
Month
way
and
I've
down
always
or-
kind of done it is, instead of paying myself first with that savings, I always just looked at what my net pay was, figured out what I had to pay, and I put some into investments and things like that. And then I say, okay, what's left over?
Yeah.
And then what's left over is for the fun stuff. After I've put
Yeah.
savings away, after
That's
I've put
smart.
my investments inside, paid
Yeah.
bills,
Yeah.
then I see, okay, what's left over,
Okay.
and go from there. I mean,
That makes sense.
sometimes
That's
it's a nice trip. Other times it's a trip to Halifax, right? Like you never know.
Yeah.
This year it happens
Yeah.
to be a trip to Florida in April. So
yeah. But
Okay.
that's paying yourself first, Haley. That's exactly
yeah, I
it.
guess it's interesting because I read this earlier in the week, the first 2 chapters, and now my mind is just spinning with different things I want to try.
I know. I love this book. We should do Smart Women Finish Rich next. That's a David Bach book as well. And I don't want to keep everyone. I mean, it's 4 o'clock. I know you want to get home. I've loved this is just great discussion and great ideas to help us get ahead and battle inflation because
I,
it's absolutely insane.
I do have a
Any
little
other?
tip.
Oh yeah,
I do
sure.
have a little tip on the Shoppers Drug Mart that you said, like
Yes.
PC points. It's really
Yeah.
Shoppers Drug Mart as far as if you get the PC points card.
Yeah.
Because I try to only shop at 20 times the points
Yes.
when you earn 20 times the points. And then I only cash my points in and I only do it at Shoppers when it's like the special deals they've got, like you cash in
Yeah.
100,000 and you get $150 the more you get. And so
Yes.
what I do is I'll buy everything I need extra and then keep
Yeah.
it stored. And then when I need, face cleanser or whatever, I
Yeah.
just go in my cupboard and grab it that way. So I kind of,
So good.
and that's when it's really valuable, is that PC points.
Absolutely. That is amazing. Marion, give us some
Suzanne,
wisdom.
backing on yours, they're having their extra bonus event this week. So if you redeem 250,000 points, you get $400.
Yeah, that's right.
So
Yeah.
you're right. That's when to use it, right? So I mean,
For sure.
you have to buy some of the stuff anyway, so you might as well use. I know and as a marketing teacher, they're using all of my data. I understand that, but it's a little
Yeah.
payoff.
Yeah.
So anyway, guys, I've got to run.
Okay, Marion.
I'm helping out with production, so I will. Thank you, Jill. I do love this book.
Thank you.
I like it better
Good.
than the other one.
Oh, me
I found the
too.
other one a bit meh.
Yeah.
Any way to get a Canadian version, like a Canadian writer of like just some of the nuances are like, when you're looking
I
at,
know. I know. I know.
I don't know.
Yeah, good tip.
Anyway,
Noted. Okay.
good guys. Well, take care and we'll talk to you soon.
Thanks, Marion. Your
Yeah.
workbook's on the way. So,
Yay.
okay. So one of the other reasons I love this book club is all these little tips and tricks. Like I would always impart these to students, especially if you teach middle or grade 12. Like this is financial literacy. These are life skills.
Yeah.
So feel free, like even once a week, to have a little, financial literacy, I don't know, like minute, or talking, getting these discussions going, talking. Like I was talking to kindergarten students today about budgeting, and And so the earlier we can drill this in, the better. Bye, Marion. So if there aren't any other comments or questions, I will wrap it up for today, and I will make sure that those workbooks are on the way. And our next session is December 14th at 3:40. FCNB is going to be doing it, and it's going to be on investments. So TFSAs, RRSPs, all of those saving vehicles with Lisa. So it should be a good one.
What is the workbook? Yeah. What's the workbook?
The workbook accompanies the book, and I wanted everyone to have both. So it's just something you can write in and kind of plan, like it's almost like a journal. So yeah. So it's for you. It's a gift. So it should be coming.
I want to say thank you. I've been keeping notes, and they're just shoved in the book. So I'm excited for the workbook.
Yeah.
Awesome.
I do have one thing. The actual book went to Liverpool Street School, and I haven't been there for like 5 years. But thankfully, I have some teachers to still are in contact with. So they sent it to me. So I don't know what happened, but somehow it went to the wrong place. If you could check on that.
That's so weird because I know you're at Montgomery Street. Okay, I will check on that.
So I don't know how that or where they have any still record of that, because I've been in 2 schools since then. So
oh wow. I'll make sure your workbook goes to the right spot.
Thank you so much.
Okay, everyone. Have such a great night. And thanks for joining. Thanks, Haley, for sharing your special bank account.
No problem.
Yeah. Okay.
Thank you.
Bye, everyone. Thanks so much.
See ya.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.